Okay, I want to thank everybody for taking a second look. This is the recorded version from our webinar earlier today. We are going to run through kind of a shortened version of our full presentation, but we'll cover all the basics of what we covered in our What's New in Interface webinar. So I'll go ahead and start by kind of announcing just kind of an overview for anybody that might be new to Interface and not sure what exactly our application is or why you're sitting in on this webinar. Interface is a new application on the market. It's a very broad application. It's a forms building application where you can build all of your current paper forms in electronic form but make them mobile. So it's a little different than a normal forms program, which looks just like your PDF on the actual device. Ours looks more like a mobile application, and then it generates documents that look like your PDF. So it allows us to scale out into the field, which is dynamic, and then also be able to bring the workflows from the field all the way into the back office and even into your document management roles. So the first thing I'll do is introduce you to our website that you can go to and explore more at your own time, but you can come here and explore based off of your department and look in and drill into maybe different ways that you can use Interface specifically. We also have the opportunity for you to come in and learn more about our applications as well. You can learn about our concept of 4 core features and how we actually go about building workflows and successful workflows with our application. We do this with 4 core features of our software that I'll show you today, but it's our form wizard, which allows us to build any form. Our routing, which has just got a facelift, which allows us to do automatic or on the fly routing. We have some issues management roles, which help for different functions in regards to tracking particular documents, as well as global folders, which you can use for mobile document management, file sharing with external users, you name it. So these 4 core features generally allow us to do just about anything that a company is looking to accomplish in regards to workflow. So I definitely encourage you to come and visit the website here. The Learn page as well has an area called allows you to learn, so you can watch through some of these videos that what is Interface, one app for all, on-ramp to mobility, different little video topics that you can come in and learn more about our application. We also encourage you, if you are a user of the software, to go to the training section of the website. We are going to be publishing some specific videos for admin and user training, but in the meantime you can definitely come in here and download the manual. And lastly, we ask you to follow us on Twitter, read our blogs. We are fairly active on those networks, always publishing new videos, do tips and tricks. And then also too, if you're an end user or maybe you're thinking about becoming an end user, want to critique us a little bit, you can come in here and rate a particular piece of our services that you might partake in. So that's a little bit about our company in general. This is oneappforall.com. It's our backboard for you to communicate with us and learn more about us. This is our application interface, and when you log into the application, many of you guys are aware of this because you use Interface. You only see the particular documents or that are possibly routed to you, that were shared with you, and you're only going to fill out the particular forms that you have access to or required to actually go and fill out as your job requirement. If you can see here, this is since the webinar we're going to talk about what's new in Interface. You may notice this search screen right here. This allows you to keyword search the keywords or form references that reference particular documents. So if that form reference you reference the vendor number or the name, that will actually keyword search whatever's in the system and be able to call up that document here through the keyword search. I'll get a little bit more into that as we kind of get into the form side and the searchability. But just on the home screen, this is kind of one of the main pieces of the puzzle. But underneath the hood, as we talked about a form builder, this probably be a little bit redundant for some people that have already seen the application, but this is our system. It sits on a mobile device. It can shrink to fit whatever device it's on. So for example, if this is on an iPad or if it was on a smartphone, it would look like this. We can come in and build your current daily reports, so they can come in here and fill out project information like date, project name, which we could glean from the project. But we're connected to your databases, so whenever I start typing in my job numbers or my cost codes, all these are validated from your existing system. So that's one of the things that make our system unique. Weather conditions, a lot of these are just questions and answers that generally are driven by the form that you're looking to create inside of eNTERFACE. So I'll go ahead and get this spread back out here. So this is generally a form that we would produce here for a daily report for a customer. Questions and answers with these categories out to the side. You'll notice a few things. I can come in here and then submit this form, but you'll see this route slip option is a new option where you can actually add route notes in the system. We can have this be an automatic rule, so when they hit submit, it actually doesn't submit the form, it routes it to somebody underneath the hood. Or we can route to a particular routing group if I had one set up. Or I could have I could route to a specific user on the fly. So we've got several different options now for workflow, and that's why we definitely encourage you to sit down with one of our consultants and let us kind of walk you through all the new ways that you can use this, because this dialog screen can just be hidden and be underneath the hood and follow a business rule. So for example, if I wanted this daily report to automatically go to the PM for review, I could have that business rule be automatically done underneath the hood. All the end user has to do is simply submit this form, and then it goes off and can follow the business rule or send the notifications properly. Now, I will say that's kind of a little bit of an overview of the form wizard. We can build, or the forms themselves. I can build any form that we'd like. This is kind of another example here. This is a service report. It's a pretty in-depth form that we do with one of our specialty guys. But one of the unique things that we do is that on the output, like this is a form that's filled out electronically on a smartphone. But once the form is actually filled out, it actually renders itself and looks a lot like this. This is their current service work order form. So you see this it's the same form, just automatically filled out in electronic form. So we can definitely mimic any existing forms that you might be using currently and be able to facilitate that as you see fit. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here as part of our webinar kind of calls, is that we're going to talk a little bit about the form wizard and then our new forms output. So let's kind of get into just building forms and how this kind of walks through the process and some of the new features that we built in. So what our goal was to have every company be able to build their forms that are deployed out to the smartphone, and also be able to configure what they actually look like whenever we eventually store them or email them or route them around for review. So what we can do here is that, and I'll go ahead and build in, I'll go to this daily report for example. Inside the daily report, and this is our forms wizard. Before I jump through here, I forget some people haven't seen this product. So, so we've got a 5-step way to build our forms. So we can come through here, and I can, I start with a description and everything else. But essentially, what it comes down to is it's categories, and underneath those categories, you have questions and answers. And if you want to add a question, it's as simple as take a progress photo, and I can put this down at the bottom, and then I can come in here and then do an image upload and complete this question. Now, in my system, though, I can make things, I can pull from a list table, I can do yes/no buttons, signatures, table lookups, which pull from your existing database system. So your accounting system, we can pull your cost codes or job numbers or whichever the case. So all this can be tied into your system. But this is really kind of the process that we go about in regards to building forms. It's a questions and answers driven thing. Now, one of the new features in this program is this concept of tokens. And tokens are answers to questions. So when I fill out that form and the answer to the question is maybe a purchase order number or a job number or possibly a description of what events happened that day or maybe a problem, I can use that text to auto-populate pieces of forms automatically. So for example, what you could do, like here, this is an email for a daily report, and I can say that, okay, today's weather was referenced by that particular answer type of the weather. I could say, this daily report was submitted by user who submitted it, comma, on date, system date submitted, and the weather was here. So so what this would actually read whenever I go and submit this document is that this daily report was submitted by Chris Jordan on today's date, and the weather was cloudy, or whatever the answer to that question was. So these tokens we use to actually create different things within the document. So this is an email notification. So when we email the maybe a vendor that field PO, it can give them, hey, this is what the products we're ordering. It could have a thank you template or whatever the case to an owner. This is some progress photos on your project, little things like that. We can kind of pretty up the text a bit and then be able to send that out. We also use these as form reference or keywords for searchability. So if I wanted that date searchable, the project name and job number searchable, I can build my form reference here. So there's some logic in regards to setting this stuff up, but it's very, very, very cool once you do, because you can do a lot of different things with it. Now, moving through this concept of tokens, you'll kind of see where all this stuff comes back up, is that we can now come in here and we can take different actions. This is where we can create business rules underneath the hood. We could have job 1 routing group and have a predefined routing rule underneath the hood that follows this particular document, this particular workflow, and I'll show you where we set that up here. But so now we can apply any routing scenario to any form that we might want to within our company. So for this example, this job 1 routing rule may say, okay, for daily reports for this job number, we need to go through a particular group of route, maybe a particular hierarchy for review. And this is where we can select which group we want to do that. Merging documents and things like that. This just combines attachments of PDFs or whatever documents, images. We can make those one particular document if need be. And then also we can make these active. Now, one of the big advantages is this plays into one of our other 4 core features is our Store in Documents button. Whenever I check this Store in Documents button, this is where I also use these tokens again. The answers to the questions can build a folder structure underneath the hood, and I'll show you where all this kind of comes to play in here in the document section. So in the folder hierarchy, I'm going to use my job name to be the first hierarchy of the folder structure. Then once I click on my job name, it's going to go down under here, and then it's going to go into a folder that I call daily reports. Now I could take it a step further and organize the daily reports by date if I wanted to, or I could just leave them as a list with the description under here, the file name having the date in it. So all this is now, and this is all free-form file name on however I wanted to actually do this. So if I wanted to say, daily report underscore date, this would now give the naming structure of this daily report submitted on a particular date underscore job name. So all this can now be gleaned through the structure of the document here in the system. Now, I'm actually going to back out of here and show you kind of where all this stuff inevitably ends up. So I've gone and I've built my forms. And then now that I've built my forms, I now want to control and have this thing look a certain way. So what I can do is I can come in here and create, and I can go in and to a daily report, for example, and let me kind of expand this out because these are designed to be on top of the screen. Here we go. All right, so this is where I can either copy and paste a particular form from Word or Excel into the system. I can do grid. It's kind of a Word-based program, but this is, or I could just start from scratch and say, okay, job number, here with some underlines or whatever the case. I can come in here and then input job number, and this will now populate there. And then I can space down here, job name, and then underscore down here, job name. So you appreciate here, you can build with grids, which a lot of forms are. The copy and paste function is nice because these forms are generally already done, and we can just kind of clean them up. But we can insert logos and change fonts however we see fit. So I can input any form that I want and continually tweak forms as I want to deliver, pretty much as if I would have used Word or Excel. Anything else before, you can generally just do that here. And we definitely encourage some training time with us if you wanted to do so. But you can apply these outputs to any form that you want and give it a description so that the forms actually stay consistent with your standard corporate folders, standard corporate files. So that covers kind of our form wizard and then our output wizard, where you can come in here and use these tokens to actually build anything that you want. Now, we talked a little bit about workflow as well. Now, workflow, we can actually come in and underneath form management, we can build, we can go to routing management. So we can come through here and we can build routing groups. So if I wanted to create a routing group that said, okay, this is a purchase order route, group 1. Group 1. And then I can say, okay, I want to have the admin on there, and then I also want to have Chris on there. And then I need the purchasing agent, Ronnie or Scott, to be on there as well. But I want the admin to be on here in the middle. So you can drag and drop these around to kind of resort the order and then submit it. And this now puts them into a routing group that I can now build on the fly. Now we can designate that those routes go right now just linearly, where it goes to one person and then it moves on to the second person. We don't currently have everything go out to one, so it does kind of follow a route scenario on however you see fit. But that we do have different hierarchies of route where we can set up where it actually follows a particular business rule for the job. So you can set up a routing rule based off of for the job specifically, and then underneath there you could have one for a form as well. So you can, there's multiple hierarchies within the routing rules, so you can have different different routing environments, different routing scenarios based off of the form type even within the job, and it can all be dictated by the project as well. So there's some complexity there that would involve more than just a little few minutes here on the meeting, but we can definitely talk to you a little bit more about how to set those routing rules up. What this allows us to do is that when I am a field guy submitting these forms, all I do is I hit submit, but it doesn't submit, it calls the business rule, and then we now come through as managers if that's what we're doing, and we now get those forms that are routed to us sitting here as a routed field purchase request. And this is on our phone, so when we come in here on our phone, we can drill in and see that purchase order, and if we want to go see, you know, the PO, I can go get it and then review it here. And again, all this could be on the phone itself or whatever device that it might be. So I'm going to go ahead and get this down here. Oop. Alright, so so this is kind of how our routing environment works. What's nice is that we do send email notifications with hyperlinking directly back into the form, or if you're using the actual format interface form interface here with the forms routed to you, you can get to it from your dashboard. So that's a little bit about workflow, where you can set it up predefined or automatic on-the-fly workflows. All the notification processes work proactively, but you can get to them from a smartphone or iPad device if need be. Now, one of the nice things as well, and this kind of plays on to the concept of tokens, is that if I want to come into my job and I want to go fill out, let's just say, a daily report, for example. Remember my hierarchy. My hierarchy that I built is that I wanted this document, this daily report, to go into a folder structure based off of job and have it automatically go into the system, into the folder structure based off the hierarchy that I chose for it. So what happens is I can come in here and go into the type in my project name, or I could glean it from the project. I can say, okay, it's, you know, partly cloudy, and the site conditions are, you know, muddy from earlier week rain. And I can change, you know, weather conditions. I'm just going to fill out this daily report. But when I come through here and after I make all my submissions, I can either route it or I can go ahead and submit the form. Well, remember what it can do. It can send the form successfully to a document management system. So if you guys use paperless environments, it can go in automatically, fully indexed without any human interaction there, so we can put it in the corporate folder structure. But we can also store it in our corporate folder structure as well. Ours just happens to be mobile, and it just catches it on the front end. So what this allows us to do is that if I'm going back in here and I want to go and say, okay, I want to go review my last couple of daily reports, I can come into my TriTech job, and I can go into my daily report structure, because remember it was job number and then daily reports. And then I can come under here and view my last couple of document types. I can see that was from the 28th, this one was from the 29th, and then I can go download it and then see that information here, see muddy from earlier week rain. So all this can be done. Appreciate the file automatically went into the folder structure that it needed based off of those token requirements. Same thing if you wanted to go review job pictures. I can come into here underneath job pictures and go get the job picture, see the description and masonry work was being done on exterior, and then I can go into here and see the actual picture being done as well here. Again, all from my smartphone or my iPad. So this is how we can populate these folders based off of information on the form. But let me also show you something that's really cool. Is that, let's just say for example, I wanted to come in, and this is a new spec, okay? And I'm going to come in here to my plans and specs folder, and I've got a second floor mechanical revision, but I also want to bring in this new project spec. So I'm going to drag it over here and drop it into the system. And this is now going to save and put it in my interface system here. Now I've got a couple of options. I can email it out. I could share the file out. So if I wanted to share this file with maybe my project group, or possibly, which could contain architects and owners or whoever else, or I could just assign it to maybe, hey, I want James to have access to it, and I want him to be able to edit it if this was maybe a Word document. I hit save, and I now added that to the process, and I hit done. That is a pretty neat little application, because if you think about it, I could share it with external users, but also I could just share it with myself. I drag and drop it from my desktop, and then I take my iPad or my smartphone with me to the job meeting, and I've got everything right there at my fingertips. Very easy to use, easy to get at. And what's cool is that I can share files on a file basis, or I could share it on a folder basis. You see, I can come in here and share a folder. So all this is security oriented, security driven. You only see things that are assigned to you, or that you have proper access to. But our little system here is really pretty dynamic, and it's really pretty cool as well, because we're introducing coming in 2015 some document linking, where we can link documents together and matching documents together. So some really cool stuff that's coming. But right now, it does serve its purpose for some mild document management. We have some companies that use this for their operations management, because it's mobile, it's folder driven, it's structured because the files go in the proper place, and they create forms for just about every little process that they want. So this can be a very dynamic little application for any company looking to do a little bit more with their smartphones, and this gives you kind of the platform to start using some of these mobile products and actually bring them into the actual documentation portion as well. Now, that I'm going to start here, and I'm going to show you one last thing about the interface core features before I kind of jump into a couple of the brand new apps that have just been rolled out. If I want to come in here and do a search, this is our new search system. So I can come in here, let's just say I'm searching service reports. I could search by user, or do basic searching or advanced searching. I could search just by job if I wanted to. Start date, end date. And then this is where I have my tokens again, where I can select which ones that I want to go search by. So let's say the description of work, I want to see everything where I replaced a belt. And then I can come in here as contains, equals, greater than, less than. And I want to see everything every time I replaced a belt. So I can hit search, and then this now shows me all my results down here. This is every service ticket that had the word belts on it. So I can either preview it as an electronic form if I don't really feel like downloading it as a PDF. I can see, okay, yep, change belts, this is a description of work. I could also, if I wanted to as well, download the PDF and view what this actually looked like as a form as well, to see maybe that customer signature or whatever the case might be. And that should be replace belt somewhere in there. Oh yeah, change belts right here. So all this is right here on the system. built into the program. A new feature as well is that we're exporting to Excel. So if I want to run every PO for a particular job, it'll export out to Excel horizontally or vertically, and it'll actually run that little report. So you can actually kind of go and do your totalings or run reports off of that Excel spreadsheet report. So you can even do this function as well built into the program. So some pretty cool little features in regards to searching the documentation and looking that stuff up. Now, I'm going to now pivot. Underneath here, you see apps, and we put documents in there. Documents for the time being is actually part of the core feature. We may roll that out as a separate app as we start building out its functionality a little bit. But currently, it's just kind of a benefit of you guys being some initial customers and kind of being on the front end. Documents actually built into the program. So I'm also going to talk a little bit about, just real quickly, the new apps for 2015. We're very, very excited about some of the things that we're going to be doing. HR is on the radar for sure. We're going to be rolling out some HR self-service applications that will be able, the employees will be able to kind of come in as an employee portal and review tax documents, download check stubs, and things like that. We're going to have training built into that as well, so it'll be a training portal as well as full onboarding. So that'll be an additional app that's coming. So we'll be able to probably demo that probably at the end of the year, and then going right into the first quarter of 2015. You should see some more information there. We're also bringing in business intelligence and dashboard reporting. That'll also be an app in here as well, so you can have some of those dashboard reports that you like to see or like to run in Excel. We can actually go and run reports based off of our form data. Data in other applications like paperless or some other document management system, as well as your ERP system. So if we wanted, for example, reports to kind of show us what we have outstanding by job, pending in paperless, as well as approved in Computer Ease or approved in Sage 300, we can run those comparative analysis reports and have all that located here next to your forms and your documents and everything else. So that'll actually be coming as well, probably right at the end of the year, first part of next. We're going to be doing pre-orders and stuff for some of the initial guys, but that's really kind of what's coming. So definitely follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter so you can kind of stay up to date as far as those applications go. We've got several other features that we're going to be building out. We do have issues management as well that we're going to be focusing on in the short term as well to kind of build out that application. Okay, so that's all I've got for today. Sorry you couldn't make the initial webinar, but hopefully this was good. And if you'd like to learn more, you can certainly visit us at our website, oneappforall.com. Thank you.